So I want to start this meeting the way I start all executive meetings. Más importante. Every meeting that I have, I started with a very, very important ritual. And would you guys like to see the way that I start all our meetings at Cruises?
Yes!
It's okay?
Yes!
It's very serious. It's muy serio, right? Very serious. All right, I need Galena to come up here. Where's Galena? Where is Galena? Demchek from Palm Coast. Come on up. And then, where's the young lady from Colombia? No. Marcela, ¿dónde está su amiga? With cumpleaños. No, she's not here? Okay, muy serio. Come on up here, Galena. Does anybody have a birthday today? Anybody have a birthday today? Galena's birthday is today. Okay, that's where we start all our meetings, executive meetings at Cruises. They have to have fun. I'd like to answer questions. I'd like to hear from you guys. Let's have a conversation. Let's dialogue. I'd like to hear what are the objections that people give to you? What's the hardest thing that you think people are going to ask you so that you hear it from me? And it's important in this session that you hear the way that I answer it, and I say you listen to my lyrics, but you feel what's in my heart. You feel my music. Do you understand the difference? That I want you to listen to my words. Me escucha mis palabras. I want you to listen to my words, but I want you to feel desde mi corazón what's inside my heart. Okay? So I want to hear questions. I want to hear the toughest questions that you've been asked. What are the questions that you don't want to hear? Troy did a fantastic job. Both Julio and Troy did a fantastic job.
I don't have time.
Don't have time. Okay, good. What else? What's the other objection that you hear? They want to know that the money's safe. So can we talk about that one?
Yes.
I'll talk about that one. So have you been asked this question? How is the money safe? People want to know, how is the money safe?
I believe it's a scam.
Okay, so let me just talk about that first one, first of all. The best way I know for you to answer this question is on the bottom of the website. On the bottom of the website are two documents. One is called the due diligence document, and the other is a disclosure document. It's very important that if you are not comfortable in answering that question about the money, then you do what I just said to you, which is please go to the website, please go to my website. There at the bottom of the website are two documents. Due diligence. What does it mean to do due diligence? To check it out, to do your homework. And so I've done that for you. I did the due diligence with our attorney so that you see the attorney side. And the attorney always is going to look to minimize risk. So that's the first document, due diligence, and a disclosure document. So that's the first thing that I would say. The second thing that I would say is that also at the bottom of the website, you'll see something that says seller of travel. Seller of travel, or it may have SOT. Maybe we can pull up the website. But seller of travel are the registrations that we in cruises had to have before we started the business. We had to be bonded. Bonded is like being insured in the states that require it. Here in Estados Unidos. So we're bonded. And it's right there, very clear and plain, at the bottom of the website, called Seller of Travel. And again, it's a Seller of Travel registration in every state required here in the United States. We had to have that Seller of Travel registration secured, that bond secured, before we opened our doors. So remember, Frank and I started the company in August 2015, and then we launched the business in January 2016. So in that 6 months, we hired an attorney. We hired one of the top travel attorneys in the country, you know, that helped launch a company called Hotwire.com. Do you know the name of this company? Hotwire.com. Well, that's our same attorney. And Adam Analik, who's our attorney, his father actually wrote, he created the laws for Seller of Travel registration in the state of California. So it's pretty good when your father helped craft the legislation for the work that we're doing. So we hired Adam Analik. So that's the other thing that I would say is that before we even opened our doors, we had to pay legal fees to have Mr. Adam Analik's firm represent us. But it was a good decision. It was mutually beneficial because his father wrote the legislation. And he's the one that said to us, you have to be bonded. You have to be insured, if you will, before you open the business. Now, let me just tell you part of what the bonding process required. Frank and I had to disclose our personal financial records, our bank statements, my personal bank statements. I had to show them, you know, what I was worth, how much money that I had, because we were a brand new company. And so before they were going to bond us, before they were going to provide this Seller of Travel registration, they had to do their due diligence on me personally. So if I just said to you, hey, you and I, let's just go start a travel company, it may sound easy to do, but it's not so easy. These are the things that you have to have in place. You guys with me so far? So number one, corporate disclosure document. Please make a note that if you haven't already, download that and read it. It's translated. It's right there at the bottom of the website. And there's also a due diligence document where we answer some of the other questions that you have. So that's number one. Number two, know that we have what? Seller registration in every state required. What else? We're represented by one of the top travel attorneys in the country. His father wrote, you know, much of the legislation. That's important. And so all this was done before we, you know, launched the business. And then we went and found what we thought was the top network marketing law firm called Spencer Reese, and our attorney's name is Stephen Richards. And Stephen Richards then looked at our idea behind the business. He looked at our idea for the compensation plan. He had to do his due diligence on us to make sure that we were a worthy client before he would represent us. He had to approve the compensation plan before we could make the compensation plan available. With me so far? Then we had to go and open up bank accounts. Then after we opened up bank accounts, then we had to have relationships with payment providers. Because if you bring money in through the membership, you have to be able to pay people out. And so we have a relationship with a company called iPayout. And what do you think the first thing that iPayout does? The first thing that they do is they look at the compensation plan. They look at us. They look at the business plan. And so when people ask me, is the money safe? I give them what I just shared with you. I break it down just the way that I broke it down for you guys. look, I have all this available to you. Corporate disclosure, due diligence document, a letter from our attorney there on the bottom of the website. But also know what I had to do. If I could not convince the banks, for example, that I was worthy, of my net worth and the money that I had saved up, then they wouldn't have approved the business to be bonded. Do you understand what I'm saying? You guys with me?
Yeah.
So that's important, that you understand what went into the business, before we got started. And that's the best way that I know to answer that question, is the money safe? Remember, this is the way I answered that question 4 years ago. 4 years ago, the answer has not changed. But now what's changed is 4 years later, we now have payment processing relationships with 4 or 5 different companies. Payoneer, Hyperwallet, PayPal, PayQuicker, iPayout. And guess what we're going to do this year, 2020? We're going to build our own. The other way that I answered the question is that in 2018, we made a decision to move the headquarters of the business from Miami and Miramar to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Yeah. And so as part of that, application process, same thing. We had to hire lawyers. We talked to several law firms on the island, and we decided to work with 2 attorneys, Raul and Roberto, 2 good guys. But again, we chose the law firm that was going to represent us. And we had to apply to the government of Puerto Rico. Same process. We had to show them our personal financial records. We had to show them our business financial records. We had to let the government of Puerto Rico know that we were good people and that we would not be a distraction to the island, that we would contribute economically to the island, that we would make donations personally to the island, which is what we have done. I also want to tell you what I think is pretty exciting about the application in Puerto Rico is that I personally, not only did I have to give my bank records to Puerto Rico, I had to prove to Puerto Rico that I was a good driver. Dios mío! Oh my God! Chicos, not only did I have to provide my safe driving record, I had to provide proof of the proof that I was a good safe driver in Puerto Rico. And you know what I say now? Where's your safe driving record? Well, come on, where's your safe driving record in Puerto Rico? Listen, I don't have fear, no tengo miedo, but when I drive in Puerto Rico, tengo miedo. Dios mío, driving in Puerto Rico. No, wow. So listen, and I'll talk about risk, but you guys, when you guys know that I'm in Puerto Rico, you guys got to say a prayer for me, right? That I survive. But so it's important that you understand that every year we renew our CLIA, Cruise Line International Association membership, that we remain in good standing with the industry, Cruise Line Industry Association, and we've done it each year for the last 4 years. They want to know that we're in good standing, otherwise they won't approve us. Every entity that we have, our global headquarters is Puerto Rico, our European headquarters is in Andorra, we have a U.S. entity, but each of them are members of CLIA, Cruise Line International Association. And so every time we add a new bank, every time we add a new payment processor, we have to provide the documents. I went to Korea. Does anybody from Korea, anybody have a team in Korea? I told this story earlier. We went to Korea, and when I got off the ship, the first thing I did is I went down to offices of the biggest law firm in Korea. And we hired this firm to represent us, to help us to open up in Korea. Come to find out, in Korea, they have a law that's on the books, that's been on the books for many years. It's an older law. It's called the Door-to-Door Sales Act. May I see your phone? May I see somebody's phone? What the Door-to-Door Sales Act says, essentially, is that if I knock on your door and I can show you my product, that it's tangible, that it's real, then I could be approved to do business in Korea. The lawyers told us that because we have a cruise line membership, and we couldn't bring a cruise ship to somebody's door, right? And we have a membership, they would not approve it. They wouldn't approve it. So I said to the attorneys, and by the way, I spent $50,000 to give that answer that I just gave you. I spent $50,000 to give the answer that I just shared with you. I've never spent so much money for somebody to tell me no. Right? It was easy. I should have just given a check. No. Check. No. No. I kept asking them, well, what is it ultimately that you're trying to do? Ultimately, what you're trying to do is the same question that the gentleman asked was, is to prevent the risk for the consumer. So I said, how about this? How about if I open up an account in Korea, an escrow account, that protects the consumer in the event that we're to go out of business, so that the money is safe. I said, tell me how much money you need to deposit, and I'll do